some cool political science stuff. Let me know if you guys can hear me too while as we get started, etc. and the whatnot. Yeah, as we get started and the whatnot. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I think we're getting back to political science and political theory stuff, I think we're getting back to it a little bit, but I don't know for sure. So yeah, go ahead, hype the stream, guys. We do like lots of those little $1, $2 super chats. Those help me enormously. And yeah, obviously not every stream, but if you guys come in and, you guys, yeah, whatever, ask mom and dad to donate a little bit here and there. But whatever, we chillin', not whatever. I love making content for you guys. And yeah, huge news. Someone that I know dropped a red super chat on one of the videos. Just so you guys know, you can support your favorite creators sharing their knowledge or experience on their videos too. So just the housekeeping notes or whatever. I know it's boring, it sucks, whatever. But while you guys are here, I'm just going to mention that. Yeah, small creators, it helps us a ton. And yeah, it's also inspiring that, I can spend a day or 2 or 3 days, whatever, a week, planning a video, I work fast, but I can do like 20-minute videos for you guys in the future if you guys are going to support them like that. But yeah, new news that the U.S. is back striking boats in Iran. That's obviously in the current issues, war, just kind of world peace in general, not being in a warring state. That's one of the big news. We shouldn't imagine that people that, who knows, maybe there's one guy on each boat who's like really deeply into, the national politics kind of thing. But to imagine people are going to work and we are dropping and yeah, they didn't make the world so that, we've got these inefficient fossil fuel boats driving around the ocean, right? That's not what this is about at all. And so to end up going and imagining that, yeah, there's just a war or conflict that's possible somehow, and that we don't share some of that responsibility, to me is huge, right? That's a huge thing. And so generally that's about as far as, from my perspective, that's about as far as that goes. We shouldn't trust leaders like Donald Trump as being sick, gnarly, etc. He's none of those things, right? He's a nationalist, neoconservative, and he says, yeah, what really throws it down for us is that we're going to keep funding our ability to sell military equipment and whatever, and so that sucks, right? That sucks. That's not what this is about. Yeah. And then, yeah, I got an awesome email alert for a book review from Notre Dame about Thomas Hobbes and his contractarian nature. So I'll drop a poll in the chat too. You party for peace? Hell yeah. Nah. And then let's go. Cool. So we got 3 questions up, and who knows, just kind of having a fun, casual Friday stream, guys. Happy Friday to you guys. I hope you guys are having a great day. Yeah, here on DucksY, every day's on internet time. So shout out to you guys. You guys are the reason I show up every day. I love you guys so much. Man, we had a lover spat about 2 days back, right? And this isn't putting me above you guys or beyond you guys. I know it's easy to see that's what just frequently happens on social media. But yeah, if you guys want to know why I'm so bummed out personally, do I watch Korn? Hey, I answered this the other day. I told you guys that, yeah, in my day, I have watched Korn, Gunnar stuff, Gunnar internet, etc. In the present day, one may ask, one may question how many accounts Duck actually has, right? If you guys see DucksY on a Gunnar channel, it's for business professional purposes. But yeah, now I'm more interested in sort of the paywalls. I'm more interested in how the site's set up, what policies and governance the website has. Like, obviously I wouldn't click into a link because it's like, oh, what's up? Hey, it's Bao Buns. We got Maria in the house. Shout out to you guys. Shout out, Jimmy Schmitz. Hey, it's big Jimmy Schmitz from back in Westfall, Idaho. Jimmy Schmitz from Westfall, Idaho. Yeah, the reason I got so mad at you guys, and I apologize, I got a couple people to apologize to. I do know how to say I'm sorry. But the reason, so this is why I'm bummed out. You guys can see these. These are Steve Madden glasses. They're thick. I know what you guys are thinking. No respectable man would buy those glasses in his right mind on any given day. But what about the beach? What about the beach, everybody? What about the beach? So you're not going to the beach. I'm just saying no one spontaneously texts and says, let's go see what's at the Jimmy Choo store. And you say, okay, whatever. It's not that big of a deal, to be honest. So people don't say this kind of stuff. They're mostly texting and saying, hey, is Marco Rubio going to be the next US president? What do you think of Modi? What do you think of India? Blah, 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 blah. What do you think of Pakistan? What about Mark Carney, Canada? Blah, blah, blah. Donald Trump. I don't care, guys. I don't care. My Steve Madden glasses broke, you guys. And so I'm like every other struggling creator out here. That's not cool. That's not sick. It's not dope. It's not dope, bro, that I've got these glasses on here. Yeah, supper time, baby. Let's go get some food. Let's whip it up. Let's cook it up. Yeah, shout out to you guys. So you guys, those $1, $2 super chats, hype the stream with YouTube gems. Support your favorite creators all the time, guys. Support me getting new Steve Madden glasses, getting the correct haircut, beer shave, and whatnot on the right side of my face, the right screen. Hey, Justin. Yeah, actual, not a little internet stuff, but whatever. Now you guys know something about me. Hey, Justin, shout out to you. Make sure chat tells me a little something about them, guys. That helps me a ton. When you guys honestly, authentically, don't give me the details, guys. If you guys dox yourselves, I'm going to ban you from the channel forever. So no doxing, but if you guys are authentic and you're like, I like racquetball, or better than that is, my dad moved to Poughkeepsie, New York to marry his stripper wife. And before my dad left for Poughkeepsie, he went up. He went to all the bars. He got all drunk. He got as many hostess, bartender, etc. phone numbers as he could. And then my dad moved to Poughkeepsie, New York, to marry his stripper wife. So if you guys tell me that kind of stuff, that helps me a lot, right? It's not about me. It's about you. Hey, we got King Lou in chat. King Louis MC. So that's a real king right there. Somebody who doesn't just pray for peace, but works for peace. Oh, cool. Shout out to you, Justin. Get them chickens. This is what society misses about neurodivergence is, moving helps, being able to stay in a creative space and being recognized and appreciated. But hey, it's not always I need like the newest iPhone, right? That's overwhelming for some people who are neurodivergent. But what's not overwhelming is like, grab a cup, appreciate. I've got day old coffee melted with ice in that nasty cup sitting there. I'm building a bacteria culture in my own house. So whatever, not really, but those small things can help. Turning our smartphones and whatnot into other things. Yeah, one of them agnostic. Hey, I'm both a Gnostic. I'm both a Gnostic, atheist, and liberalism is all right, guys. I didn't bring it up today, but if you're gonna, in the whatnot, we're getting up and out with that, then hey, that's what the bros are doing. Did his stripper, someone asks if my dad's stripper wife that he ran away to Poughkeepsie with gave me a dance. No, dude, I wouldn't be like that for sure. Obviously that's my dad's thing. So I've got that. I do have that boundary, guys. I just vote progressive Democrat. I hate severe OCD. I have severe OCD. Okay, cool. Yeah, shout out to you. I've got no sort of new knowledge, scope knowledge of that and whatever. Kyle Higgs, what's up, man? Hey, what's up to you? Hey, what's going on to you? What is a Gnostic? Gnostic is with experience. It's with knowledge. Yeah, please know, guys, the one of my lines is disclusive language. Guys, we're allowed to voice opinions. Some of it's going to be speed bumps because we're on the internet that we go over. Some of it's not going to be speed bumps. If I have even a small semblance that it's impacting someone else's experience in chat, I'm going to choose that person, right? I'm going to choose that person. Hey, what's up? We got serotonin in chat. Hey, shout out serotonin. Hey, everyone. Brought to you by dopamine and serotonin. This is the Ducks Y channel. If you guys like politics, debates, discussions, learning about political science or philosophy, you guys don't mind a little scholasticism. You guys don't mind that it becomes the case, we can hold on a little, just slightly tighter. We can wrap our fingers around, really dig into and gnaw at some of the biggest ideas in world history. Do a shout out, guys. Do a shout out for the channel. Like, subscribe, etc. Go forth and F them chicks. Yeah, no, I respect women. I respect women actually. And just to make that clear, I'm not red pill, guys. I'll clarify that. I know I look really sick. I know even with broken Steve Madden glasses, but like, yeah. So I don't do things like rip pictures from OF or Fansly. I don't do stuff like that. I do not do things like ask women out on a date the first time I meet them. I don't do that stuff. I've broken Steve Madden glasses. This is what the grift is for. This is why people are saving up. You guys are saving up to send me the huge disco party, the huge dance party, right? It's $400. It takes 2 purchases in YouTube to send that gift. If you guys haven't checked that out, you guys haven't sent me any Cinco de Mayo, your favorite creator, Cinco de Mayo stuff, go ahead and do that. We're all shameless grifters here on YouTube. I don't care what a Canadian a fricate or an American says. Hey, Letty, yeah, great call, great point, and good for you. Yeah, good for you. You know, I do think it's the case that when we actually move ourselves over to sort of a space of global civil society and global citizenship and say, okay, well, here's where I planted myself down and that's where I am. That's great, right? That's amazing. And yeah, you know, let's have the conversation on equal footing, right? But sometimes equal footing, like if you were to talk to LeBron James about basketball, equal footing for LeBron James means that you're actually down a level, right? You know, you are playing in the G League, right? LeBron James plays in the NBA. He's an MVP. He's a world champion. So LeBron James is the man, right? And so sometimes, you know, it's okay to have religious notions, iconic notions of icons like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, right? You want the street cred, guys. You want to see the cred. What about that right there? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? That's Michael Jordan. Who am I? This is Duck, right? I'm not Michael Jordan. I'm not Jordan. And so, yeah, you know, when we take national identity, who knows? You want to spend your time arguing about whether it's better to be American or Canadian or British or the EU. Have fun with that, right? Enjoy that conversation. We're all here now, right? And yeah, we can discuss the merits or how different systems work, have specific particular knowledge. These are all really important topics to have. And we can also ground these things and say, well, there's something that splits the difference there, right? There's something that splits the difference. It's the fact that we all have different things. Show my library is very small. That's the other fundraise, right? It's not King Louis calling me out because yesterday I said, hey, all the grift, every dollar and cent you guys send to Ducks going to books. I also said all the dollar and cents you guys send me is going to AI clips, AI music for the stream. And now I'm telling you guys, I got to buy some new Steve Madden glasses, right? This is why you guys send me money. You guys want to see the jawline. You guys want to see a real faux hawk with actual $70 pomade in my hair. You guys send me money, right? You guys send me the money. No, I'm just kidding. It is going to go to academic stuff, hopefully. Interesting stuff that talks about society and social media for you guys. I don't know who created the universe, says Yummers. Hey, great point. Great point. Yeah, it's interesting to think that a being is next to beingness. So this is a very common distinction you'll see from Phil Bros, etc. Right? You know, these kind of bums, these bums that you know, whatever. But yeah. So beingness, the universe is something. A lot of people say that. Most people don't accept the universe is just in our mind. We imagine it. A lot of people do, right? This is called solipsism. This idea that every beingness, everything that we think is just our own perception of it. And yeah, cool. You know, that maybe is true for some people. And for other people, it's not true, right? For other people, you say, well, I recognized, you know, who knows, something attractive, alluring, something that inspired fear, something that inspired confusion or wonder. I didn't know it. And so these types of things that are not us, it's a totally new perception. It's like, I'm going to prove it to you. So when you say, I don't know who created the universe, that's an old question. Beingness comes from a being. Why, right? That math equation isn't taught at Harvard. That math equation is old and historical. So yeah, let me see some of your books. I don't have all my books out. Let me show you this. I'll show you Thug Kitchen and Harry Potter. No way, dude. No way. We're going to have to cut this out. We're going to have to cut this down. There's my vegan cookbook in front of Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, if you don't know it, former world champion basketball player. Kyrie Irving is also a notable conspiracy theorist. Thank you so much. We got Primordial Puggles in chat, dropping 100 huge Aussie dollars, red super chat coming in. Thank you so much. That really does change my week and month. I appreciate it. Guys, we are super comfy on the stream. This is huge. This is game changing for me. So if you guys are considering super chats, go support your favorite streamers. Maybe you guys can hype the stream with a few gems, couple $1, $2 super chats here and there. And yeah, support your favorite creators, guys. Support your favorite creators. Thank you, Primordial. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Thanks for the big drop on the last video in here. Yeah, I did. I got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for the membership too. So we got, you guys, we do have memberships available as well. If you guys want to join the community, like Puggles, you get the cool green name tag. We're going to have more emojis and stuff coming out. And yeah, having a huge sugar mama like Primordial Puggles inspires me to do a great job on emojis, build the community the right way. And just remember that, yeah, money, there's no money tree. Money's not cheap. You can learn about it, and you can ask what moral goods and ethical goods you can produce with it for other people, right? For myself and for other people. Yeah. And so I'll just mention this too. Yeah, I'll mention this too, that, beingness into being, we don't have to, I got my broken Steve Madden glasses here. I've got broken Steve Madden glasses. They're not Belugiagi, and they're not, Gucci. They're not the House of Tom Ford, etc. and whatnot, But they are Steve Madden glasses, Italian, European designer and the whatnot, American designer. He disrupted Europe. This guy disrupted Europe. They didn't even see it. They didn't see it coming. And so I will just mention this here. I'm just going to mention this here as well, that, yeah, so I don't have Belugiagi glasses and the whatnot, but I don't see myself as a part of my own financial monetary success and the whatnot. We got 10 memberships coming in. Thank you so much, Puggles. That's huge. So you guys got swag. You guys have access to emojis. Shout out to you guys. Congratulations. Let's congratulate the new Duck Pond members. Hey, you win the Duck Pond. Austin Murphy, Antonio Taliano, RDZ 1023. Hey, we got based in the chat. What up? Good to see you, homie. It's been a while. Good to see you. We got Eden Star 5740. Hey, we got In Pursuit too. We got In Pursuit. A bunch of my old debate pals, a bunch of my old debate friends. Shout out to you guys. Happy Lauder. JL Lifts. Hey, good to see you, brother. And Funky Fresh Rhyme. Shout out to you guys. So I'm going to go buy some Belugiagi glasses. Primordial, thanks so much for the huge drop, right? That changes my week, changes my month. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Huge for me. Thank you so much. Hey, Shivam, shout out to you. Yeah, love from India. Yeah, shout out to you guys. What's up? Kyle Higgs says, preach it, man. Want to screw and go play some Minecraft? Yeah, I might actually play a little Minecraft. We might go do some of that. We might go do some of that too. Yeah. No, I haven't played Minecraft. I told you guys I was a big FPS guy. Yeah, in reality, I was a big FPS guy. And so, yeah, in college, I would, this is just what my life was like back then, is I would blow off steam from work, from school by competing more, right? So I'd lock into playing a video game. And so I think that's awesome. For the older folks in chat, for the younger folks in chat, you guys know that's a great way to spend some time. It's fun. It's social. You get to socialize with people, compete, work on skills you don't work on elsewhere. And just, yeah, as I've gotten older, it's also good to still go read, visit the used bookstore. That type of stuff is huge. It's huge. We should discuss the UN, NatK, and abandoning them all. Let's see here. UN, NatK, UN, NATO. Yeah. There's an interesting perspective from King Liu. When we talk about the UN and international governance, we can think in terms of security cartels, but the one small difference is this is thought about in different ways. So you can say that neorealism, the structures, the things that go that we built on top, the thatch roof and the second flooring, the carpets and rugs of the nation state, these things are about security. And there's a huge function there. It's where nuclearized and industrial powers go to discuss how to not fight and how you understand threats and risks. But you can also take these as sort of a sidebar. You can say one of the reasons why the UN appears so slow or ineffective, right? You guys get frustrated. There's starvation, there's disease, there's poverty. There's just these sort of arbitrary fights. I'm not angry at China. I don't know anyone in China, right? I don't have Russian friends, right? It's more upsetting to me that I don't have friends in places all around the world including Latin America, including Mexico, including Canada, etc. It's more confusing and upsetting to me that I don't know people there than that we're arguing or we might fight. I don't understand it. And so saying that there's the structural organizational bodies is maybe really important. Some people would challenge for multiple reasons that it just matters more that NATO's not the be all end all, buddy, right? NATO's this old school, almost antiquated, outdated alliance. Donald Trump, this is maybe one of his neoconservative opinions that actually is geopolitical, actually has some rigor behind it in academia. I'm not saying Donald Trump is like a professor or scholar or anything like that either, but hey, there you go. Mick Diesel says, how much money do I need for well, if I'm getting Belugiani, if I'm going to go get some new Belugiani Fucci glasses, I told you guys, right? Save up for the disco party. It's $400 US. So Puggles knows we don't accept Aussie bucks here. Puggles knows that there's no more Aussie bucks that are allowed to come in for some time, right? No more Aussie bucks coming in for some time. No, I'm just kidding, Puggles. But yeah, we want the $400 for the Belugiaji. Any questions? You know, you guys understand that? We want thick rimmed glasses, guys. I'm gonna bling my my house with airproof, particle resistant sound detecting panels and the whatnot now. Yeah, thank you, Puggles. Yeah, I've gotten the 10 gifted. Thank you so much. I've gotten the 2 red super chats, etc. Puggles, if you want mod, yeah, let me know if you want a mod here too, because you're always etc. really cool in chat. But I'm happy to, if you want to be one of the managing moderators, I'm happy to do that. You know, we can kind of see where that goes and you know, keep you on for a week or two. And if you like that, but you look great with the green name tag. I think you look exceptionally stunning. One would say stunning, awesome, and etc. You know, with the green name tag too. Don't worry about the population. Don't you worry about population decline of native Eastern Europeans? Yeah, I think the birth rate, I think population statistics are quoted because they're easy to understand, right? You can imagine, it's easy to imagine a group of 10 million people or 100 million people going to 90 million. And one says, well, this is normally a number that is profound and shocking to a political scientist. You know, if you see a number of like 100 million go to 90 million, you imagine this may change the trajectory of politics. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. Thank you for being here and being a mitigating force as you are. But yeah, and so, you know, this cognitive flip or this cognitive shift is huge. You know, because there is something studyable about population decline or the rise of age in Italy and Japan. Italy and Japan are 2 places that have been very famously studied. Italy very famously has had these large national swings, but has also been a bedrock of democracy. You know, the theory of democracies lived in Italy historically. And so this is a great topic. I personally think, well, you know, if it's not the case that decline in birth rate can cause like a decline in democracy, or we don't have a theory of this, then we should look elsewhere, right? We should look at elsewhere for explanations and causation. But I would say I'm personally not declined about any decline in birth rate or population if there's not like a very clear, avoidable reason why that is. Centurion countries. Yeah, cool. Hey, what's up? Waterman Drip, good to see you. Not only birth rate, but what's going on there. Yeah. I mean, it depends, right? Because if we look to Central Europe, we can look at countries like Poland who have done exceedingly well. Countries like Poland that have done exceedingly well. And then maybe it's the case there's geopolitical issues, including the Russian-Ukrainian war, that have picked up, right? And then you kind of wonder about whether it's Chechnya, Kosovo, these other areas that have been accused of everything from racial cleansing to just violent civil wars. So yeah, you know, these historical events, it's difficult because my own opinion is I don't think it makes sense to have Hegel interpreting these things for us. It doesn't make sense when you're going to tell a story that automatically is going to disclude either intersectional experience or it's going to disclude the actual geopolitical drivers. So if you say, well, competition between the US and China is actually what causes these conflicts in the first place. Or it's partially responsible. There's some responsibility or blame shifting, and then there's some, it's not just blame shifting on the international stage, but we can say, well, this is the same blame shifting that prevents development in sub-Saharan Africa. It's the same blame shifting that prevents solutioning and problem solving from being a geopolitical driver versus the actual politics. These are all really important topics. This is called neo-Hobbesianism, and to me, it sits right alongside realism and neo-realism. And I do gotta pick up some Kenneth Waltz books and the whatnot and stuff like this. Don't you play Minecraft? I've never met Sasha Grey, right? She's a Twitch partner. Sasha Grey has, she's got over 1 million Twitch subs, and yeah, she's very cool, right? She's a very cool person. She's probably one of the best streamers on the internet. So I'm a big Sasha Grey fan. I sometimes change my profile picture to Sasha Grey when I go on panels and stuff. Just because whatever, it creates a little excitement for people that don't know who Sasha is. But yeah. I've never played Minecraft with Sasha Grey though. Yeah. Go sniff some more, you POS. I'm sorry. I really do apologize. I really do apologize. Don't ever let anyone borrow your shoes. Yeah, that's also true. Hantavirus is coming. It just hit Israel, yo. So last night, it was like in 6 different countries. Very scary, animal-borne illnesses. But it highlights the fact that even something like hygiene in cities and countries was one of the biggest products of industrialization, and urbanization, right? So you might say, well, guess what? Here's my actual opinion, is that we developed machines and better usages for iron ore over time. And so in some sense, I can construct a moat which has like iron ore spikes, these deterrents to keeping enemy phalanx or something together. And I know that this is a force that used pitchforks and other iron tools to farm the land, right? So their civilization, when you give someone a pitchfork or something for the first time, and you say, well, this is the same story of blacksmiths, this is the same story of specialized trade, this is the same story of mercantilism, buying global culture, through mercantilism and through merchants trading and whatnot, is you get these initial things. But then there seems to be these leaps and jumps. This is where Hegel comes in political science. Hegel says you cannot use the same types of thinking to imagine something like, well, once you start building iron structures, and those iron structures tell you that cleanliness or reducing, giving information across a city or urban area to everyone in the social stratum, even if it's a dictum, even if it's a top-down dictum in a language you don't speak, it's culturally unfamiliar, everybody still knows the Catholic Church comes in. So this is a big difference. It's a big difference when we're just talking about as a patriarchy, right? We are just talking about how men and society and women in charge, right? Lords and duchesses and whatnot come together to discuss raising a war tax. What do you actually buy? How much power or force production? How much do you rely on skill and cunning to go conquer the battlefield, to achieve an objective? What does it take? What does it require? This is different. This is a different type of conversation to saying that, well, the farmland and the urban area is now concerned with cleanliness. It's concerned with literacy. It's concerned with access to church services. It's concerned with access to flatter social hierarchies or whatever it takes to sort of preserve these things. This was from the hantavirus question, though. Yeah, now we are not just concerned with a lordship. We're also concerned with epidemiology, the studying of these viruses. And someone who's in the CIA, for example, or part of the State Department, someone who works for an NGO, they may also be concerned with human organizing principles. They may also be concerned with how do we organize when there's a famine? What happens in countries with low river basins that dry up, and then there's more airborne disease? What happens in the case, right? We're not getting infected by little puppies. We're not getting infected by other animals. we're getting infected by disease and therefore infecting each other, right? We become the transmission problem. So epidemiology studies this. Vaccines are a great thing. And when we see viruses, which our body often, we have synergies with viruses in our DNA. Apparently, evolution's decided that. But a lot of times we have no natural defense or immune response. And that's why vaccines work. Vaccines work because they aid our natural response. Hey, DSF, cool. Yeah, cool. Shout out to you. I'm deeply worried about Ukrainians, to be honest. Yeah. We should be concerned about human safety all over the world, especially when there's loud, obvious industrialized conflicts. These industrial scale conflicts do make it so it's not just that it's impossible to ignore, but you create these smaller moments. This is also Hegel. Hegel and Lacan and Slavoj Zizek have all spoken on this, that when you have wars like Gaza-Palestine, or even a moment where a protester in the US is carried off by police and someone photographs it, he says that, look, there's these big historical splits, which are dialectic. These are dialectic. This is history creating reality. And it's either truth or it is inspiring for how we apply academic theory. Either way, it's useful, good to know. It's useful. It's not damaging to know. But then you also have these moments where you capture a protester. You capture the moment where what's his name? That sprinter guy. That sprinter guy's in the US. There's Nazi flags behind him and he's holding up his hand like this. These are also really impactful sort of times and moments in history, right? You go like this, whatever. And So, and this is almost like creating a new moment because people cannot deny the cultural significance. You reinterpret things. Can you guys stop asking about Sasha Grey in chat? This is not Sasha Grey's channel. So you guys can just search Sasha Grey on YouTube if you guys want to go find Sasha Grey on YouTube. Support the gaming stream, etc. Or whatever. Are you kidding? Let me Google it. Cool. 300 viruses were stolen from a lab in Australia. I think one of those, I don't know, people are always concerned. It's not just state level actors. This is what I posted about my most recent video. If you guys want to go hype it, comment if you guys think it's a good video, right? You can edit HD videos on your cell phone now. So when I make content for you guys, I'm making HD videos on my phone. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'm going to try to think a little deeper, produce that high value added conflict stuff and whatever, right? I'm going to produce all that same stuff in the whatnot. But so 300 viruses stolen from a lab in Australia. I was talking about how it's been since the end of the Cold War. This is something you guys might want to know. And we can get back to debates, questions if you guys want, whatever you guys want to. In after the 1990s, we sort of began immediately asking, where does the next threat come from? If it's not going to be an ideological war between the Soviet Union and the United States, what's the next big shoe to drop? Obviously, we know about nuclear weapons. So once that's cleared off the table, the next big threat is, we become the threat, right? It isn't just state actors that would maybe become political dissidents. It's not just state actors who would be curious how technology works in the year 2026. It may actually be the case that it's just normal people who have become disaffected by the political system or have a specific ideology or reason. I was just watching today on the news. There is this hacker group out there. They're going on Discord. Hey, Bad Eye Crazy, good to see you. There's this hacker group that's going around and basically gaslighting kids on Discord and stuff. And the FBI is categorizing this as an existentialist ideology and extremism. And so this is very strange because existentialism, right? You can look at the event and see that, whatever is actually motivating people to target others online, especially vulnerable groups. Vulnerable groups always have special social, political significance. Vegans like me would say it's sort of like, when you have factory farms, when you've got little animals in cages, or when you have a cargo ship digging up, a cargo ship digging up freaking, what's it called? Digging up coral reef, all this BS, right? It's a bunch of stuff. But these vulnerable groups are always especially significant. Women's groups, religious groups after civil conflicts. These are all really important for geopolitics and politics. And they may actually be causal too, right? This isn't just your feelings. You wonder why you need everyone to come along. But yeah, so when we talk about we becoming the threat, it used to be the case that environmental activism, civil society, really healthy global civil society, could, someone would say, well, somebody's going to become radicalized eventually here. They don't just want to hold a protest sign. They see what's going on, and that makes them believe it's justifiable to commit violence to solve violence. They haven't developed that understanding, that integrated view, an integrated brain, meaning that I can be really upset about something. And this is the same as being happy about something. I can be either extremely excited or just a little bit excited when I see something, just my sense of where I'm going into. And I either understand or don't understand that violence doesn't change something to be less violent, right? I don't understand that a vote, even if it doesn't look like it matters because you voted, right? I don't understand that these sometimes change takes time. And so I become, in some sense, because of my circumstance, maybe I'm poor, I don't have a good social connection. Maybe I grew up and have violent sources around me of information. So I become radicalized, right? I become radicalized or something like this. This is obviously, not, some people might say, well, it's just something that's going to happen. But outside of epidemiology, social health, basically civilizational security, national security, one of the reasons we should get vaccinated isn't just evidence-based research that vaccines work. They protect vulnerable groups. They're deeply political, deeply social. But the other reason that we get vaccinated is because we would imagine a compounding or confounding factors from things like hantavirus, from things like famine, drought, energy insecurity, not being able to charge your phone, right? That's what a great connection. In the US, in the United States, we lied about this. In the United States, we lied about this a little bit. In the United States, we lied about this a little bit. I hope not. I would hope not. I hope I'm not trying to deeply change someone's mind, but I'll consider that for sure, COD enjoyer. I'll deeply consider if I'm mimicking the style of Charlie Kirk. I'm not telling you guys to vote progressive or conservative, right? I'm not telling you to vote one way or the other. I would tell you don't be a nationalist, right? So maybe that's it. I'm telling you guys don't be a nationalist because there's no causation in reality about that. But yeah, we solve these problems because there's threats that can come from any number of spaces, and and just that. So so I think I just responded indirectly to saying what you want. We saw Luigi Mangione as well, and we saw Lance Boycher, who went after Melissa Hortman. And so it's a fruitless conversation, because if you want to say another leftist, why was this person maybe has an identity politics themselves of the left, but he would also have other identity politics. And so does the guy with the MAGA bumper sticker who drove his truck into a Mormon church, right? He drove his truck into a Mormon church and burnt it down. And so obviously political violence against the president or any elected politician, especially the president, but even especially all politicians, is incredibly scary. That's just one of the, when we think of political violence, not just things like the Oklahoma City bombing, these are all things that people can consider. Well, why is it the case? Why is it the case that even when we stretch out urban areas and cities, we stretch out all along the eastern seaboard and say, we stretch out our entire continent, stuff like that, et cetera, basically as well. And we also then say, we also then say that, you still have these threats and risks, and you still have these unsolved geopolitical problems. It seems like we're not talking about Hegel anymore. It seems like we ultimately, and from my interpretation, we're not talking about history creating the case that cities spread out. We're not talking about our own psychoanalysis and subconscious. Maybe those things are incredibly actually more relevant. But it's also the case, it would also be the case then, hey, thanks so much. We got stars in chat. Shout out to you. Thank you. Thanks for hyping the stream. We also have the case that, as these things spread out or something like this, there's large and small forms, big and small actors, levels of analysis, and these things have their own causes, right? This is what boy brain political science may and political science in general, what you ultimately publish and discuss on, what doesn't, maybe the conversations that neither boys or girls or any identity, gender, whatever has after the cocktail mixer, my experience and my version of reality and truth that's just like yours, right? We discuss the same things, and so this is one of the this is the causal thing, is that there's still a reason that Al-Qaeda didn't have a problem recruiting, right? That should be horrifically concerning to everyone, that you could basically you were basically renting people's sons and daughters to go join this horrific civilian targeting terrorist organization, and they were able to execute horrific terrorist attacks in Mumbai, in Nigeria, all across the United States, And so, hey, thanks so much for the star again, Tsunami. I appreciate it. Huge ups. Thank you. Appreciate it. You seem pretty well balanced right now. Hey, what's going on, Vaccinator? Good to see you. Yeah, shout out to you. Hopefully you're doing well. No, I didn't go work out, didn't have coffee or anything like that too. Yeah. Let's take a look at the poll, guys. Let's take a look at the poll. We have 18%. When I said, do you party for peace? 18% of you guys got the right answer. So that should be concerning as well. Of the 72% of us that are here, of the 33 votes we've had, this should be concerning that small sample size, but only 18% of people know that. Do you party for peace? Get to pasta, chicken grass fagioli. Hey. So that's the right answer, guys. When someone asks, do you party for peace? Your answer is get to pasta, chicken grass fagioli. And then 64% of you guys gave a sick answer, which is sick, but it's incorrect still. You guys said, hell yeah. And then 18% of you guys said, nah. Hey, what's up? We got Duck Not Duck. Yeah, shout out to you. I have actually a bunch of ducks in the opening scene of my most recent video. So if you guys want to see another right answer is going to learn about the topics we've been discussing today on a more surface level, but get you some of that baseline in history, set you guys up maybe to go do some of your own research. Maltese ravioli. Hey. That's a dog. You're talking about, no, making ravioli for the puppies, right? That's what you should do instead of gifting subs, instead of the giant super chats, Puggles. We can start a company together selling lentil dog raviolis or something fun. We can dry them out. I'm a duck too. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So yeah. Blackwater, I don't remember you based on eyesight, just based on seeing you. You said, hey man, seen a couple of your streams, love seeing you, brother, working on cars. Are you the car guy? Oh, word. Oh, and you were debating with his, yeah, you were arguing with one of my mods. Cool. Yeah, good to have you back. Good to see you. We're trucking along. We're still doing, trying to do a little bit of scholastic politics stuff, trying to have some fun conversations, making fun of the world, having fun while we're at it and whatnot. And so to me, the pieces parts and stuff are, it's whatever, but yeah, the pieces parts of politics is really important. And for my channel, I'm supposed to have pride in my channel, but yeah, I've got a lot of pride in hopefully providing good content. So thanks for coming back. I'm gonna go grab a small cup of coffee, by the way. Cool. Yeah. Hey, if I can be a solid voice while you're working, and maybe we get to go back to debating and arguing and whatnot. We get to, have fun conversations. That's awesome. So I'm going to get a cup of coffee, refresh myself. Let me put on I'm going to put on a little track. I'll set the studio up and I'll say BRB in chat. Yeah. Whoops. Here we go. I know how to do this, guys. I know how to do this. I don't need to be told or asked how to do this. Dun, 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 dun. Whoops. Here we go. And be right back, guys.
I should have seen it coming through the years left in the dust. But after all the lessons learned, it would end the both of us. There's a first for everything, like a handful of mine. Now I'm left here with the pain from her I love you goodbye. Though it hurts to watch my whole world become the woman she would be. The thing that I forgot would set her free. I taught her how to leave. 18 in the summer, man, it feels like yesterday. When she was looking out that window on the bus to second grade. The first step she'd ever take, the first cut from a heartbreak. Been through it all, but now it's time to go our separate ways. There's a first for everything, like a handful of mine. Now I'm left here with the pain from her I love you goodbye. Oh, it hurts to watch my whole world become the woman she would be. The thing that I forgot would set her free. I taught her how to leave. There's a first for everything, like her hand holding mine. Now I'm left here with the pain from her I love you goodbye. And though it hurts to watch my baby girl become the woman she would be, the thing that I forgot would set her free. I taught her how to leave.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the music break. If you guys ever want to do music, you can just ask and you'll get an answer. So that's how the channel works. It's very simple here. Yeah, I do have a rule in my own life and the whatnot. I don't mind coffee on my own beard, but my question is ask. My life principle is ask, get, or ask. There is the answer. There is the answer. Yep. And so depending on how you view maybe your own life philosophy, one of those may be more for you. Yeah, and this is, I think it's true, right? I know that if I ask, for example, I'm 36, but if I ask my mom for a pasta dinner, something good like that, then I'm going to say something like, hey mom, would you make some fajoule, some stromboli, do it your way, not how they do it, Franco's mastacholi and stromboli. I don't get it all the time, right? I ask my mama, and so I know I'm going to get more of an answer back from her. If I ask my dad for dinner pasta, I might get something else. So yeah, you ask and you get, even if someone says, no, I'm busy, right? You still get exactly what you asked for in some sense. There's a input, output, and then, this type of thing. This is just how exchanges work, maybe more fundamentally in nature, who knows? And then there's also ask, there's the answer. This is also about not complaining. Not complaining is a huge thing I try to do. I'm going to complain if Puggles tries to send me more red super chats this month. But yeah, I do appreciate Puggles enormously for that too. High ball shooter request by Deep Purple. I cannot get, as I might get demonetized just from conversations that have occurred this month, but I'm really trying not to. I'm really trying to have pride in my channel or something like that as well. And so, yeah. And so, but yeah, not complaining to me, ask, there's the answer is a huge thing. It's that, yeah, if, we say something, we put something out there. I'm not telling people to be a wet rag or something, but a little bit, right? A little bit of being a wet rag actually asks where the best answer for you exists. Maybe, it's not that mystical. And so, but yeah, actually asking where something, you ask, you get an answer, and there's your answer. And yeah. So, and yeah. Cool. But that's really important. It's really important. We do scholastic politics here on Ducks Y. And so when I'm working on trying to learn something new, a new theory or a new idea, and I'm wondering if I even came prepared to discuss it or something like this. And so I'm now presenting myself as a source, an authority or something on a topic. And so for me, the seeing that seeing like a minimum is that, it's actually in reality, right? This is physicalism and cognition, neuroscience. In reality, if I read a book, there's 500,000 or 5 million new neurons, right? In reality, that's 500,000 to 5 million, or it's 5 million to 50 million neurons, or whatever the number is. It's in the scale of the billions because I pick up a new book at the bookstore. So appreciating that part of my answer that I'm getting back is also that I get to adapt my brain. I'm not a neurohacker, I'm not a neuroscientist, but that is also what the reality is like. Democrats support Islam, religion of women's rights. Historically, Islam has the same track record, more or less the same track record as every other major religion supporting women's rights. So you can say, well, it wasn't religious, it was structural, it was based on society. But it was a little bit religious, right? It is a little bit religious when it's not just that women are also rational. Women, all people are rational. They have game theoretic type behavior, just like any human, right? We don't present ourselves as game theorists in every day. We don't present ourselves as doing economic thinking in our everyday. This is what Thomas Hobbes introduced, that empiricism is not a black bag. When we experience the world, Thomas Hobbes introduced this idea. He introduced this idea that we rationally judge our environment, and the end description of the state of nature is a war of all against all. And we hang on to this reason and our ability to enter into social contracts. So Thomas Hobbes is considered proto-liberal. He didn't support individual rights at all. Thomas Hobbes is kind of the black sheep of modern contemporary political theory. He's rarely, if ever, discussed. It becomes more or less true over time that if or not Hobbes is discussed here. But and so humans as either rational or owing to self-interest, their reason and the whatnot, and how far that extends. In religion, you say, well, God makes man the shepherd or steward of either their entire tribe or their entire people group. So in Islam, you have Sharia law, which embraces hosting others. It embraces creating diverse, heterogeneous societies. Islam also embraces that Sharia law and Islamic law must apply to everyone, right? And it applies also that men and women have different laws and rule sets. And so it's very strange. Yeah. And so in Christianity, you also determine what a woman might wear. Right? Because you said, why is this? Because in Genesis, God prayed for Abraham's bulls. In the Christian Bible, in the Torah, God prays for Abraham's balls. He prays for Isaac's balls. He says, your balls, your seeds will be blessed, right? This isn't a two-part equation. You took from Adam to pay Eve, and now your balls are blessed, right? You are the patriarch here. David eventually builds an oaken house based on this principle. And so if you're a woman, if you would adopt feminism as an identity, and it can become political, right? You're not saying, well, I'm going to go vote Kamala Harris because she's a woman, but you say, well, the path forward is that at least, it seems like this 3,000 years, the path forward was two stories, right? It was God praying for man's balls. David builds a kingdom out of an oaken house. Maybe it's wise. Maybe there's good things in there, but there's still suppositions that were not entertained. And since we're not dealing, important point, we're talking about the construction of reality. We're talking about what divinity or moral values this society claimed to have prior to modern nation states. The most important aspect here is that, we don't have an inclusion of other suppositions. At this point, there is no divinity or God. There is no man or woman that exists in society that's been recognized in the same way. There's no political violence, social violence that's been recognized in the same way. There is just the fact that we don't presuppose a metaphysical reality, and so the suppositions are not included in a constructed society. And so an interesting way of thinking about it is maybe there is below the pathing that we argue about in ideology. Feminism, liberalism argues for individuals, for women's rights. Ecologicalism or environmentalism would argue for inclusion of natural values, the natural values we claim to have or that we all have, that we share, the things that we share with others as well. But yeah, an interesting way of thinking about this is, well, Immanuel Kant talked about society, and what he said is, well, there's deontology. There's just the bare layer and basis of phenomenal critique, phenomenal inquiry. So for Immanuel Kant, it's deontology. It's what's it called? Synthetic types of knowledge, where we know things a posteriori based on axiom reasons and these things. And so the Bible doesn't include this sort of German idealist approach, but you may be a naturalist and say, well, it's just the phenomenal nature of chemistry and biology, and that's actually pretty solid. Maybe you take that approach. Or others have said, well, the phenomenal basis is now technology. The phenomenal basis is cybernetics. So this is the hyper-modern idea. Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism does not embrace or encourage this. It does not have a way to compensate for the richness of the space. It's patriarchal still in my view, but yeah, in political theory, right, it's also an unfair critique because this is actual political theory. Actual political theory would also say that, a cybernetic or AI-driven robotic Internet of Things future where you have the base layer is computations happening 1,000,000 times faster than synapses in our brain can transmit information. This has created a new type of reality which can make obsolete. It can physically make obsolete the other types of natural systems or objects we think about. And so this is what we base a theory on. And you might say, well, this is where the future heads to, or this is where the future goes. And yeah, it would just stand to reason, or it would beg one to wonder that while we put into other systems, why we would put into that type of system, why that eliminates the competitive need for the other baselines of society, the discussions that have come before, why they all look so similar. Even why, here's where I challenge you. I would say, why does Islam and the liberal nation state looks quite similar next to each other? In reality, why is it the case that the empire of Muhammad and after the Shia and Sunni split, you also have the emergence of Sufi mysticism, Sufi Islam. You have Wahhabism, which arises further west, right? So you have all of these ideas that are owed to theological or geographical or historical significance. These three interpretations you could also take or something. So why is it the case then, Zoroastrianism, all part of the the rich tradition of Iranian nativism, right? When we say I'm an American, or Puggles would say I'm an Australian, or yeah. Yeah, when we take our native traditions and they include like, oh, that's a religious person. That's not a queer, odd, or foreign to me. It's very familiar, actually. There's nothing distasteful about a Muslim and a Zoroastrian Christian in Iran knowing each other. Right. And so this cultural layer that's not about politics and geopolitics, but is about culture first and foremost, does show these systems evolve and emerge next to one another. And but yeah, it is odd thinking. Why is there no scientific theory of government? Why is there no scientific theory of human nature still? A common critique, that book that I was posting, like a common critique, and Kenneth Waltz has levied this against realism, is that, well, we do talk through theories in the social science. Once you get through the data, once you get through the usefulness of it, this isn't a reason to skip college. But yeah, we do talk through versions of theory, either in practice or the metaphysical basis of it is talked through. I would suggest the disclusion of natural values. I would suggest the disclusion of natural values and the whatnot. Of course. So anyways, Islam is a terroristic organization, not a religion. That's Islamophobia. That's not supported in the data at all. People like Sam Harris, who are not, they're not trained in political theory. He is just like everyone else when it comes to topics that are not, and he would know this, topics that are not neuroscience, topics that are not philosophy, and specifically philosophy of mind and cognition, I believe. I don't believe Sam Harris has deep neuroscience experience in the genetic or genomic expression of various brain morphologies or structures, but he's echoed these statements because of pupils who talk about religious violence and whatever you'll have. And yeah, it's also, no one ever normalized or related this back to the fact that Islamic society maybe recognizes political violence in a different way, right? It was still the case that of 1 billion Muslims on earth, maybe 2,000 of them were actual religious extremists, right? Maybe 2,000. So, the quantifiable number is small, right? And good evidence of this is that if you actually take a time period from the 1950s to now, is it the case that in Africa that Islam is the core driver of political extremism? And the reality is, no, it's not, right? No, it's not. It has always been. When you don't have state security, a rational actor who has access to weapons, and then later on, people that have geopolitical backing are able to engage in this type of behavior. And so you've got this, to me, you have a spinning plate problem. Mr. Lono, I think you have a spinning plate problem. Sharia law is part of Islam and forced in Islamic states. Yeah, that's exactly right? That's exactly right. But then you have Sharia law, and your new spinning plate problem, if you want to hold that down, is you still have property law, right? You still have economic rights, rule of law. You still have a Walgreens or McDonald's fast food. You still have Nike. You still have German microphones, right? Shure microphones. I'm sure they sell microphones in Dubai. They probably want to be in all the like Brookstones or the fancy electronics store, the audiophile stores in the best malls in Dubai. So yes, the UAE that also has their own version of the CIA or ISI, that UAE Dubai is Muslim, but so are people just living in nice apartments or living in a sort of the workers level apartment that you can afford in Dubai. Those are also Muslims, and that's also what you would call an Islamic society. And so in politics, it's more important to be precise than it is to sound correct. This is something our president, Donald Trump, does not understand. Your white guilt is showing. What is Sharia law? Yeah, Sharia law is a system that is administered by a magistrate, right? You have I'm not an advocate. I like jurisprudence. It would be very disgusting for me to have. I would personally feel disgusted, including in jurisprudence, a conversation about whether theological law is law. And this would not surprise anyone. I would question a good person who is a Sharia magistrate. maybe they are a cleric or something like this, or a mullah, and they're administering Sharia law. I would also question if this person has the same credentials as, say, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a Supreme Court justice. And so you might say, well, that's Islamophobia, but no, that's a debate about politics. I could say the same thing about nationalist hires into the Trump administration. Yeah, so Donald Trump is installing Sharia mullahs via Kristi Noem and Kash Patel, right? That's not political rhetoric. There's a real analogy there. Dubai doesn't enforce Sharia. I thought Dubai doesn't Dubai have very strict anti-drinking, anti-drug laws? I was aware that Dubai does in fact have Islamic components in their law. Just in the same sense that Saudi Arabia, the flip side of this is Saudi Arabia it's the kingdom, right? It's a democratic kingdom. Saudi Arabia can be studied in democratization studies and democracy nation building still. They have Sharia law, but they also have Western components of their law, right? So you've got, a little nuance is good. A little nuance never hurt anyone. Hey, Hizzle, good to see you, homie. Good to see you, homie. Hey, Joe, shout out to you. Have a good day. You'll be back in a couple seconds, bro. We're talking poli-sci, man, but good to see you. I think Dubai makes exceptions because of tourism. Yeah, you don't want to end up on those lists or something. That would make a lot more sense. Hegseth is a self-proclaimed Christian nationalist. It's Wahhabism with a different coat of paint. Yeah, that's another good way. That's a really great way to put it. Yeah, Christian nationalism is like the most conservative. Some wouldn't say orthodox, but the most conservative, or perhaps prone to coercion. Coercion is the word we use in the West, where your law coerces you, the law exerts a force and coerces you to go do something. So Christian nationalists like Pete Hegseth, who has banned gay and trans and women people from serving in the military. He's banned an identity, which is very strange. A social identity. He's banned a social identity, which is really bad. And he says the government can say this. But yeah, the another interesting analogy is the coercion that people like Pastor Doug Wilson have advocated for. He said your household should get one vote. And yeah, the patriarch is going to make that vote for the household. These crazy, very, very crazy far right ideas that are also not really, they say that these are based on the metaphysics or nature of reality. And so this is why you build from, but they're truly not, right? They're truly not. These are ideas that themselves, the actual justification, if they say there's a small semblance of something that one reasons about, and then it maybe doesn't actually apply to how humans live. It doesn't, in fact, apply to how humans live. Evidence is the last 300 years of history. But yeah, Christian nationalists will make you believe that because the Bible said these things, you should believe them as well. And yeah, those little logical loops, I can say, I sip my coffee and have a great day, right? But this is just an example or an analogy of why, I can't say, well, I want to live in a society where everybody sips their coffee instead of chugging it and has coffee sipping laws. This isn't a political belief. This is not a political belief. And it could be also true that I can't just go back and say something equally absurd. I want coffee sipping drip houses. I don't want any Starbucks with big straws. I don't want cups that you can pour down your throat. I want laws that everyone sips their coffee. I sip my coffee and have a great day. I sip my coffee and I have a great day. I used to work in tech. Hey, the dog, good to see you. I used to work in the tech industry. Yeah. So I tell people, I'll show you this. I'll show you my broken Steve Madden glasses. Hey, I'm not an everyman. These thick plastic rims. These are beach sunglasses. This is somebody says we're going to go to the mall. We're going to get tapas maybe. We're not telling the world what we're doing after. We're not telling them where we came from. So I put on my tapas, my broken Steve Madden glasses, and I then may not have a place for you to hang out. Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry, Lono. Yeah, it's a cool place to hang out. I'm happy to shift the topic away from political science, from philosophy, from political theory, guys. But you guys got to help me out a little bit too. I'm going to talk about my Steve Madden sunglasses and tapas for a minute, and yeah, you guys can tell me what I get right, etc., and the whatnot. But yeah. So it's 100% like organically true. Shalom. Yeah, so my D-bag story though is I used to get tapas. I've had W-2s that make it look like I've had paychecks that make it look like I make $300,000 a year. I made like 6 times the average salary when I was in my 20s. And I wasn't just doing sales. I wasn't a sales bro. I was good at tech. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It felt like my life's purpose. And then I left / it got taken away from me. And so, yeah, whatever the short, long-term story of the horrible things I've done in my life because of tech and because of money is, yeah, it is just whatever it is, right? It's whatever it is. So, yeah. And so I was too much of a firebrand or something for the industry. I got too much, what do they call it? Yeah, too much something, this or that, or the other from it. So, but yeah, tech is interesting. It's fun. But yeah, I don't see tech as political. I don't see techno oligarchy as political in my own view. I don't see cybernetics or AI futures or blockchain decentralized futures as political, because yeah, you guys still can't talk about crop yields. You guys can't talk about GMOs, and you can't talk about the fact that there is just arable land. And arable land, when you say crops, arable land is the entire earth. Life finds a way. So, go screw yourself a little bit, right? Solve that math equation for me. And I will also go do my homework, but I'm not going to be friends with like the blockchain, contrarian type of thinking style until I have to be. So, yeah. Hey, 6 Cents Amelia. Great to see everyone. Great to see everybody. Hey, I hope you don't, Puggles. I hope you don't, right? Yeah, you're hanging, I can say this, you're hanging out in all the right places online, at least, right? There's, but yeah. Mushroom RX. Hey, what's up? Good to see you. Shout out to you. Maga, is that the manager for the clubs, for the Cubs, or? Oh no, I wish. My family actually is from Chicago, MAGA-fee. My family's from Chicago, so I do have a bunch of Cubs fans in my family, a bunch of Bears fans. I got a Bears jersey. I'll show you guys this real quick. This is one of my favorite things too. Sorry, I'm up here so I can show you this. Yeah. So maybe when I go replace my sunglasses with Puggle Super Chats with Bulgiani, House to Tom Ford, Gucci, etc., I'll also go pick up some new jerseys off Marketplace or something. But I've got Matt Forte here. Oh man, Matt Forte. And then I also have this cool blue old school Jay Cutler jersey, Jay Cutler. And you guys can see what I like about these. The high quality aspect of these is they've got the NFL shield on them. So you can see the cool NFL shield logo, which is very cool. This one is I don't know if it's real or fake, but this one's made by Nike. And then this is a Reebok, I think. No, this is also a Nike. So I've got 2 different Nike jerseys. What is it? What is this one? Yeah, so this one's made in Honduras, and this one is made also. So these are both from Honduras. So I'm guessing, yeah, whereas Honduras is equatorial, sort of Central America, et cetera, and the whatnot, right? It's about that place. Indiana Bears? I hope not. I hope they stay in Chicago. Chicago. Is that actually a real thing? That's going to freak me out if that's true. That's going to freak me out if it's true. Indiana Bears. Hey, shout out to you. That's pretty cool. Oh man. Whoa, move to Hammond, Indiana for a new stadium? No way. Wow. I got to call my second ex-wife about this. Yeah. I got to call my second ex-wife and third ex-wife to figure this out. This is crazy. No way, dude. There's also black bears, Ursus americanus, the American black bear in Indiana. So that would be crazy, dude. That's gnarly, dude. If you're not enjoying yourself, you know that you don't have to stay. Yeah. 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 I mean, what you criticize is also what helped me make, like I said, like 6 times the average of people in Arizona when I was in my 20s. So, yeah. I think it's good to weaponize our own, weaponize your own brain space, bro. Yeah, hell yeah, brother. Yeah, but for good reasons and stuff like that too, right? Brain sharing space, also assessing sort of the space that we're actually operating in, and being confident, having opinions when we're upset with something. So, yeah, this is one of the things the tech industry did well, is understand not just surface level what people joke about, what they're like, but how you solve problems, right? You're there to work, you're not there to make friends. So that's one thing I understood very quickly. Maybe it's too much part of my personality now. I'll consider it still for social media purposes. But yeah, you're not, people will go network and make friends at work. And there's a lot of that. There's still a lot of that, right? Talk about it. We'll come back to that in a second. 115. But yeah, you go to work to learn how others solve problems and then go solve the problem, right? And some people solve problems that take a day to solve. Some people solve problems that take a week. Some people solve problems that take a month. And this is true on social media as well. Some people solve problems that take 24 months. Some people solve problems that take 5 to 10 years in reality. And it's a moving ball, right? It starts over at the end of it. It's the rat race. So you either have a one-day rat race, or maybe you have a longer-term rat race. And so you're taking your skills and you're figuring out the values at the different time, the actual impact, the both positive and negative impact, and then you are still going forward and applying those skills. So personally, I don't have shame. Maybe I have a little bit of, I probably still have ego left from the success I had in my tech career. As stupid as it is, right? Not many people can say, and this is stupid, right? You can vet me on this. I'm obviously not going to dox myself, but yeah, few people can be 31 years old. And when I was 31, I could say I've managed teams in 3 different continents in 6 different time zones. Cool. Have you done that? Have you tried it? What's that like, buddy? And so, yeah. And so, the other side of this is, obviously, this is still not about, when you hear tech D-bags like Peter Thiel or Mark Andreessen, they all agree, and we say the same things. And a lot of the higher ups, like, they're not mystical or mysterious. And you can always ask, are you talking and spending time with how you're getting in trouble or how you're fixing things, right? And yeah, we sure all are getting in trouble right now, right? It's asceticism and sacrifices for someone else at this time. I understand. Yeah, I used to do that too, right? And then I grew up. I put on my big boy pants and recognized that's the divide. We're either marketing ourselves or the trouble we're getting into, or we're working towards enduring change. We're saying cynicism, asceticism, sacrifice, hard work. Those things can be for me, right? Those are for me. I'm gonna go spend some time there. Go get me some, right? Let me babble through this and see how you guys are gonna like me after this. After I'm done with this, right? So, anyways, but yeah. So that's the long answer to your question. Is yeah, I do talk through things. I don't do that when I'm making YouTube content or videos. Yes, it does come out on live sometimes. But yeah, the videos, the shorts I make are not all me babbling through things. I am aware that that's not how others communicate, even if it's just naturally how I communicate. But my main thing is, you're allowed to have an opinion. That's a weird thing to me, though, to have an opinion about. It's a weird thing to have an opinion about how someone solves a problem. It's not weird to have an opinion about the scope or timing or what they say that problem is about. It's not weird to say someone has an opinion about, it's not weird to have an opinion about the actual output or product, just the values you put in and what you get back out. Those are normal things to have an opinion about. It's weird to have an opinion about someone's communication style, right? Very strange. And I would say be careful or cautious. You yourself, you guys, right? I don't need to go back to a tech career, right? I don't need to go do that. But you guys should be careful about voicing an opinion about others' values. You know, the old phrase in tech is telling people their baby is ugly, right? When someone shows you a new product, you don't tell them that, well, this sucks, or I don't understand how to see it, right? You have a conversation instead, and you tell them what looks right, what's wrong. You don't tell someone, but this is the exact truth, right? So right now, the very simple logic is AI investors, AI employees, the AI industry, right? And we're not about people, but the actual contracts, right? The actual W-2s, the stack of paperwork that investors pay to economically hire another stack of paperwork that goes out and pays for other stacks of paperwork. What you're actually buying is that AI is going to grow 20 to 30% globally every year for the next 2 decades, right? So people want to keep their time and money in the AI industry. And you might say, well, this is greedy, but it's also happening. But so the question begins to ask, well, can you get closer to, for me, my perspective is, can you get closer to the foundational economy? Can you get closer to sustainability problems? Can you get closer to environmentalism? Can you get closer to the psychological impact, but actually the cultural impact that technology has always had, right? Nothing new, you know? And so ask a question, ask, well, why, right? You should, if you are an AI investor, you should be able to ask, why did Saudi Arabia want to start a $50 billion AI fund? Why did Saudi Arabia not drop $2 million? They didn't make a venture fund. They wanted a lot. They wanted an institutional scale AI investment firm. Ask that. Ask what's different when they ask about AI in Nigeria. What's different about AI in Kenya? What's different when the Sudan thinks about ending their civil war? And yeah, you guys have your own oil. Can you guys buy data centers, right? Do you guys have power and internet? What's the ambitious sort of goal? And when we talk about the United States as a consumer and input-output machine, is this consistent with our political values and ecological values? So anyways, there's the long drawn-out answer. The old phrase is, hey, thanks, Puggles. Yeah, free speech is very important. Yeah, free speech is important, right? This is how, this is the nationalism tactic too, that, I don't know, just an observation or something like, so we know so let's say it this way. We know all governments suck. We know the government that doesn't need to govern at all is best, according to Henry David Thoreau, and the government which governs least is normally best, also according to a disestablishmentarian, Henry David Thoreau. And so not an anarchist, he says, get it out of here, right? He says, I don't even want to talk about the theory of it. Get it out of here. The theory is never good. But yeah, this is the difference is, a critique from Baathism or democratic socialism is, and perhaps places in Europe is like, well, you want to go use free speech to talk about destroying women's rights. You want to use free speech about destroying the physical safety of LGBTQIA, trans people, Muslims, things like this. You want to use free speech for negative reasons. So what's the purpose of it? And yeah, it seems to avoid the conversation about what's rational and in our interest and talks about praxis. It just talks about what happens. So why would we spend time talking about just what happens if that's not the conversation people want to have? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, your channel has no subject. Hey, Churies, yeah. So we talk about political theory, scholastic politics and the whatnot, et cetera. Yeah, shout out to you guys. Yeah, shout out. Also, if any of my LinkedIn folks are here, shout out to you guys. Good to see you guys. Don't tell anyone my last name on LinkedIn, please. All right, I don't want to be doxxed. I think it's great to have a good conversation and et cetera. And doing things the fast, mature way and finding the times when to do things the thorough way, right? These are important. So the mature skill set about fire sales, the mature skill set about tulip madness is that sometimes it's the time to just go forward. Everybody's on their pogo stick, bouncing over stuff clumsily, as it turns out. The other way that you can do things, if you're an executive, is you can say, well, sometimes no one will schedule a meeting, but everyone will read an email, right? Or if I can get 30% of my leads to read an email, 30% of my leads will read the email. So very logically, I either just say, hey, you're getting on a call with me Tuesday, and this is why. Or I can say, hey, here's the information you didn't ask for, but you read the last email. So read this one. What comes next in the conversation? And so two very different ways of saying the same exact thing, and etc. Yeah. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Yeah, I mean, if you're on LinkedIn, you guys like social media, you guys can always give your money to social media content creators, either like myself, but other creators, right? There's people all over the world. And so even $1, $2, $5 super chats, just having some of those hype streams, contributing to the environment, right? Maybe deciding, you guys, this is awesome tech thinking. And I'm not I made a ton of money today and yesterday because we've got amazing audience here, amazing mods that help a lot. We've got the freak, the imperialist here. But yeah, decide if you guys like hyping the stream, being part of almost that like party rave like atmosphere. You want to go find your friend Molly. I will go find my friend Molly and introduce you guys. And we are not stopping ever. We are never going to stop partying here. But yeah, there's people all over the world doing tarot card readings, all kinds of fun stuff. We got membership drops. There's people that are here for the grift, people here for the poetry, the artwork, the excitement, the OF, Fansly, in-label content, the comedy, this type of stuff, politics, philosophy, religion, debate, fighting. Hey, huge thanks. I'm so glad to see Doombased in there. And also to Car11111, shout out. Hey, good to see you again. Pax Joto, great to see you. And Chuck, we got Chuck on the channel. So if you're here today, Chuck, great to see you. I hope you're having a great day. Hopefully you're having enough excitement and intrigue, fascination, joy. And thanks to Puggles for the membership gift. That's huge. 5 gifted memberships. That's amazing, guys. So we now have we're a small channel. I'm very excited to say that now we've got about 25 channel members. You guys can buy your own membership, renew these memberships. It's $5 a month. Prices are in USD. It helps me enormously. It's a little predictable. And then, like I said, yeah, that frees some of you guys up if you want to have an impact here and other places. That frees you guys up to do small things for other creators. Just go do the other thing for the other creators, guys. I appreciate it. Huge. And so the last thing I'll mention just in sales technology, this type of thing as well. The last thing I'll say in sales technology, obviously not authoritative, but yeah, when you find something that works, go slow still, right? So there's all these tactics people can use on social media when you're learning to write, right? You guys are learning to write about philosophy, right? You're learning to write about politics. You're learning to write about religion, cooking, lifestyle, IRL. You guys are wondering about the Belugiagis. You guys are wondering about the Giapato Nakasanis, Machiavelli, Katanis, House of Tom Ford stuff. There's no need to be broken, no need to be different there, guys. We gotta all come out and be the same exact thing. And so, yeah, you're gonna have imperialists like the freak who are really gonna annoy you. When it's not the freak that he himself annoys you, but he understands I get annoyed at imperialism. I don't get annoyed at the freak. I love the freak. He's the man. The freak's the good guy there. Doombased is the most based, right? Doombased in the good Gershon man. Yeah, good Gershon man. The number one feature, of course, the number one feature that we have here, as a matter of fact, is we have the good Gershon man meme, and we got the Trump Epstein and the Mick Belief and the MAGA and the commie potato. So I'll drop these so you guys can see them now. So you guys can see these. Sorry about that. Let me just run through these. You guys have the Gershon man meme. You got Trump Epstein. You got a Mick Belief, so a fake belief. or it's a belief based on industrial capitalism, industrialism. We got MAGA man, and we got the commie potatoes, because you guys all, we love Zoran. We're Zoran fans, right? People that know the history of democratic socialism emerging from economic crises, describing age-old problems in labor, in gender, race relations, sexual relations. These huge ideas that floated up were solved in many different ways, in many different places, and consolidated into democratic socialism. You guys put up the Zoran Mamdani poster. Help fund me. I'll get a poster. I support Zoran doing ethical, moral work in the world, but let me get the poster. Let me be a fan of the man. So you guys got the commie potato. And then we also have the Trump nationalist. You guys want to be freaking all the way down, little doggy. You guys want to help me out with that kind of stuff. We got the Epstein stuff too there. So, yeah. Yeah, that's, that's Granddad. Yeah, that's from my granddad. Here, Puggles. Tour now. Primordial Puggles. Can you guys still hear me? All right. So this is for, we got, here. If I would it be okay? 'Cause I can't help. And then here's Granddad. Hey, Puggles, there's Granddad right there. He's a sky demon. Sky demon. Michael Jordan. There's Mike. Puggles, there's Mike. This is I'll show you off. This is my new Lamborghini. This is also the Kyrie Irving version. I'm a vegan, but this is a Kyrie Irving vegan shoe, etc. and the whatnot too. Yeah. So this one reminds me that you can be really good at basketball and still believe that Martians built satellites, which they have, right? And we can just also, instead of saying that, we're all FBA, Christian national MAGA Trump people, or et cetera, and the whatnot. Yeah, so that's my life. That's basically my life in a nutshell. Yeah. Now we officially know each other, Puggles. That's my life in a nutshell. There we go. Cheers. Puggles did offer yesterday to fly me to Australia and house me, feed me, bathe me. I would probably do cooking and cleaning incidentally. I'd probably also be driving, buying conversations, etc. when we went to luxury shopping districts. Can you guys still hear me okay? Yeah, so I mentioned that if Puggles and I go out, I'm obviously going to be doing the stylization. But other than that, I'm basically whatever. So, yeah. So who knows? Yeah. Yeah, in social media terms, you absolutely can buy for me, I've become a male prostitute, and I don't have an OF or a Fansly, but you can buy someone for about $250. And it's curious because Puggles and I, while I am Puggles' property right now, she owns me forever. But yeah, we like talking about a lot of the same stuff. And it's also, it's just generally a good thing as well. Yeah. So Puggles, huge support. Awesome super chats and stuff. Huge support today. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Aaron? Great to see you. Hey, what's up, Ashay Adov? Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, so this is amazing, and we'll talk about this because we build in public here a little bit. We're not building in public, but it's a good conversation. So Puggles, she sent me 2 red super chats today and yesterday, and has done 15 gift memberships, which is huge for me and huge for the channel. And like I mentioned, I love talking like this, and so if she's going to support me, that's cool. And it is also wild for a lot of creators, right? That the impact that money needs to have and does have in people's lives. And so it's cool, like giving people that sort of simple success. I'm very grateful and whatever, because I usually give away all my possessions from time to time. Cool. Yeah, shout out to you. That's an awesome humanitarian thing to do. humanitarian or whatever the correct term is and the whatnot. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. And so thinking in terms of, we can say she, her, they, he, him, they, he, him. And then we can say it or that or this. And this tells us, these words in English tells us the relationship closer and further to things too. And yeah, I don't go around thinking there is this, that coffee cup. But if I'm ever curious about where my coffee came from, those types of the syntax we use matters enormously, and some people understand that. Hey, what up? Oh yeah, we got Claire from the UK. I forgot. I think this is your second or third time here. So yeah, good to see you. Just friendly, God bless and whatnot. But yeah, of course, we are talking about opposing nationalism and Christian nationalism a little bit. But yeah, not being fans of, like, I don't know how someone who has faith, as someone like me, right? I go back to my broken Belugiani House of Tom Ford. The Steve Maddens had to go, someone would say. But the Steve Maddens didn't, right? I don't want to environmentally be wasteful, but these glasses here, you can hear them rattling around now that they don't have the full structure to keep them together, right? We don't announce where we are. We don't announce who we are. We don't announce how we got there. But the Belugianis are coming, guys. The Yamamoto House of Tom Fords. But my point with all this is, I would make the case that it's difficult to have faith in fashion, have faith in culture, and say that I'm also a fan of Tom Ford, right? I'm not a fan of the House of Gucci. I'm not a fan of making those objects accessible to other people, or the moral worth, the moral good, the excitement, and the intrigue, the creativity, etc. of these things. Those things should be available everywhere to all people at all times, right? Step up, have the conversation, be honest, be authentic in yourself. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I like, yeah, thank you. You're just getting your messages cleared off. No need to spam, but thank you. I see you also. Thanks for waking me out of my slumber. Shout out. Yeah, good to see you, cool turtle. And yeah, Hizzle's also right. No need to spam. And yeah, so having faith in Christian nationalism doesn't need to mean we are a fan of the conservative parties of the UK or the MAGA conservatives in the US. You can have faith in something and still engage in the same political process with respect. Just like I could go buy you guys all Belugiani, Mikey Nacatello, sunglasses, really thick little metal plastic parts, right? You guys would totally get it, the thing itself. And yeah, there doesn't need to be mystery around that stuff. You guys can say it's mysterious why you guys look so good. And I would say, well, it's just, it's curious to me, right? It's exactly right. Putting on an exacting outfit really means that you guys show up in your best way. Right, when you don't dress exactly right, but it's exacting, then this is what actually creates fair competition. This is what creates the level playing field, etc., and the whatnot. So I'm just going to say it out here. I'm going to say it out here right now that, we actually, as time goes on, we realize that the symmetry, the balance between nature and humans, we realize the symmetry between respect and fear of government, as well as participating in global civil society. We understand fashion, culture, art as a driver, as an agent, as an actor of society. These are the good things. Hey, what's up, Snowfire? Do I like Trump? Yeah, I'm a cool turtle. I'm not a MAGA Republicanism. My last video talks about one reason I reject neoconservative thinking. Donald Trump is a neoconservative. Donald Trump has also rebranded the two-party system to be MAGA Republicanism versus all, MAGA Republicanism versus Democrats, MAGA Republicanism versus do-nothing Republicans, people with just plain conservative, everyday community values, MAGA Republicanism versus people with Christian values who still agree in secular government. So I don't like or dislike Donald Trump, but I disagree with the ideas. I disagree with the outputs. I'm not in opposition to Trump. I'm in opposition to the ideas. I don't know Donald Trump. I've never given him a hug, a handshake. We've never shared a read. We've never shared a cup of coffee together. I don't know him. I do not know him. So yeah, and so when it's the case that there is there's not optionality in etc. writ large, there is not optionality to say that I can just suddenly I believe something different about the way the world works. No, I don't, right? I don't even. So there, and so getting to the point where what's actually above, social disagreements, etc., common misperceptions, etc., and saying that, hey, I do know where this goes, how it goes, I know what's coming next, etc., and the whatnot. But the main point is that, yeah, Donald Trump doesn't support your individual conception of rights. Donald Trump doesn't support your access to education. I said this earlier on LinkedIn, folks. This is what I was talking about on LinkedIn today. I said, look, right? Women's rights include a dentist, right? You guys don't like dentists. Women's rights include dental care. I don't care where you are in the world. Women's rights includes dental care. Why do you not like dentists? And what comes after this, right? It's the appreciation that you guys dislike this idea of women's rights so much. Some, not you guys particularly, but you guys dislike this idea of women's rights so much that you started pulling oil and coal from the ground. And you dislike the idea that chickens walk where your feet go so much that you guys kept pulling oil and coal from the ground. And then you started stealing all the milk from the cows, guys. So that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm talking about today. Yeah. And great question from Aaron 15414. Hey, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Hugely thank you for the support. I'll try and be really good on today's stream in the next couple of days too, about reading comments, putting on a good show for everyone, creating conversations, etc. But yeah, the conversation I want to be able to have right now too is it is based on two things. It's based on two things. It's based on the questions you guys ask and what comes up in chat. And obviously, I'm super grateful for the financial support as well. So, Aaron, how do you keep political disagreements from bothering you on a personal level? Yeah, for me, my own personality, and this is also, I don't want to say a disclusive word, but I can't think of a better one. So I apologize, but I am psychotic about one thing. I am personally, me, myself, and I, when you say there's, psychotic people like Jeffrey Dahmer existed, I will say I am psychotic about this one thing here, right? I'm psychotic about this one thing here. The one thing I'm super psychotic about is prioritization, right? And someone like Abigail Spanberger, who worked for the CIA, maybe she doesn't value this more than everything. We should buy Abigail Spanberger some space as Democrats to be herself, to be the best version of herself, the best leader able to compete when she can. And yeah, we should show both acceptance, tolerance, understanding, and forgiveness for being part of a militant organization, one that produces offensive and defensive aggressions like the CIA, right? It's about projecting power and creating leverage. So for me, it's about priorities. Donald Trump's opinion, his personal opinion, and my personal opinion are never going to matter. I'll show you guys this. What's the first one I grab here? So here's the first one I grab is Make America Great Again. The first book I grab is this. That's my opinion. The second book I grab, just the BS I have sitting around, is Peter Thiel's 0 to 1. You guys know both these books. Donald Trump telling you to believe in him. Peter Thiel telling you to believe in change, believe in history, believe in skepticism and doubt, believe in being a challenger. So we have these two ideas. Thanks so much. Whoever sent that orange super chat, I'm getting to you, and I'm getting to the comment in just a second. I'm hugely grateful. Thank you so much. But yeah, so these two books are huge. These two books are huge, wild, crazy, gnarly ideas. And yeah. So, but the fact that my opinion, his opinion, Peter Thiel's opinion, Elon Musk's opinion doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's the fact that I think we can save human lives. We can provide better human experiences for people at all stages in all places of the world. And we can make sure that society isn't impacting nature in a negative fashion. We're all we're one animal community. We're a plant, animal, tree of life, a civilization. And so until you change, I'll make you change my mind about what this means. I'll make you tell me that I have to go out and be an evil person to get a cup of coffee. And I just accept that too, right? I'm a consumer. I consume a lot, but I'll accept that when I have to accept it. Hey, thanks so much. We got Andy in chat. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate hugely the $20 super chat, Andy. Great to see you. Andy's one of our Andy was our first. I'll always remember this too. Just from the special importance. I know you didn't ask, but I maybe will. Andy was the first person to become not a member of the Duck Pond, but our upgraded member tier of you got a Duck Azo, you got a Duck Migration badge, right? So this is before the Belugiani, 400,000 mega subscriber party comes out and et cetera and the whatnot. But Andy's been here. And so happy day to you. Hopefully you're having a great Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day it is, Andy. Appreciate you hugely as a person. And yeah, the priority obviously is always getting along. It's not debating all of our ideas. It's talking about being able to talk about many different philosophies, not just one. Andy may know that I've converted to evangelical Christianity. Alhamdulillah. I've converted to Islam in general, right? I don't know which one, but I converted to Islam. I have not yet converted to Orthodoxy. Not once in my life have I done that yet. And so, yeah, happy Friday. The priority is about, to me, making great content for you guys, recognizing you as people in the audience, inspiring you guys to be authentic on channels where people want you to be that way, right? No competition, but go be authentic where you guys can be, right? Be authentic, and that helps me personally be honest too. People with closed fists cannot shake hands. Whoa. Hey, that's a simple rule right there. Yeah, simple rule right there. When we are saying, hey, any questions, right? We get back to the same topic again. Any questions, guys? This is also why you guys, with the YouTube gifts, you guys want to send some fun ones, the corgis, the husky puppies. Those make me happy. Those might make your favorite creators happy too, seeing those come across, especially other folks that haven't gotten all the love on today, this Friday, our Christian Friday of the Lord. Thank you guys so much for the support. I appreciate it. And yeah, those corgi husky puppies. But yeah, when we're saying that, well, this is one of them things that, for me, just being able to settle, right? The first thing that comes is we can just settle into a conversation. I'm not doing the fake Navy SEAL. I'm not getting whatever this is. I'll do it like this, actually, just to kind of demonstrate this for you guys for a second, but I'll do it like this. But every conversation isn't about being upright, about settling back, and extending our bodies, becoming longer and wider and stuff. Conversations are not about aggressions. They're not about signaling our power to our ability to exert force. Conversations aren't about signaling our ability to exert force first and foremost. Conversations aren't about our ability to comprehend or understand what someone else said or is saying to us. Our conversations are about being nice to each other. Conversations are about living under the same umbrella with the same floor. The ground, the physical, not you, the ground, the actual ground beneath your feet, the thing that is beneath your feet is always the same thing, right? It's always the same thing. And so how you shape yourself, how I shape myself because of that is a hugely important topic, right? We're one human family. We're one plant and animal family. We are one plant and animal family. And so, and so the conversation, recognitions, appreciations is that we are all in this together and we get to have some fun together. We do not always have it cold in our house. Cool. I'm going to go do a quick coffee refill. I'm going to throw a song on for you guys. I'll give you guys the Jordan view. I'll give you guys that top level Michael Jordan, Eric Clapton, Grandpa view, Harry Potter, Kyrie Irving view. I'm going to go refill the cup of coffee. And yeah, whatever. And so coffee for me, music for you. And I'll be right back. Let's go with, yeah. Is this one good? I think this is good. Yep. Hey guys, this is a banger, guys. You guys aren't going to want to miss this. Enjoy the track. I'll be right back. Ooh. That sounds a little nice. I don't mind that. Hey, I don't know about all that, right? I don't know about all that.
There's so many people
Cool.
say that they won't.
Hell yeah.
They will. I could use some motivation.
Hell yeah. All right, let's go, baby. Let's go find some of that good. Some of the what? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Getting some of that what? Getting some of that, that male drop squat, that 425 pounds, etc. What's up? Hell yeah. All right. Are we still going? All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Welcome back to Ducks Y. My name is Nathan. Online, I go by Nathan Swift even, right? I got a real fake name. Ducks Y is a channel focused on philosophy, politics, political science, academic, and scholastic philosophy. We have a lot of fun. We can do debates, disagree with each other. I'm a little off kilter, and that's because I'm a little off kilter. So shout out to you guys. Great to see you today. I'm based in Arizona in the sunny Southwest United States. We're a huge audience-driven channel. Yeah. So could you say in one word what the best thing you think? I don't know if that's to me. That's to me. Yeah. So I don't do identity. I try to avoid identity politics on social media because we're about scholastically approaching politics. But yeah, on the left, I would say it's fundamental, right? If I could give a compliment and say, this is the thing you keep doing or keep talking about, they're both fundamental, right? Not fundamental in the sense that you can describe how an oak tree grows from the ground or how a rose bush grows a flower or a thorn. But it's fundamental in the sense that the left is about collectivism. The left is about commons problems. The left is about using game theoretical solutions to commons problems, to collective senses about those problems. And then on the right, conservative values are about, well, these are the organizing principles that existed prior to collectivism. You did not have Adam Smith's laissez-faire, omnipotent market for all times and in all ways. So the right conservative values are about the organizing principles prior to those things. Some people say they're religion. That's a little higher up, right? Real conservatism, I think from Edmund Burke, is about pro-social motions, which encapsulate both the social violence as well as the social acceptance, right? It's not about telling someone they're wrong for how they are as a person, but it is about being able to discuss both sides of activities and behaviors. So the right does this very well. The right has this as a value. Maybe you think it's more fundamental that someone doesn't get a paycheck, can't feed their kids, they're taking their kids to school and living out of a car. Or other places in the world, you're saying, well, that person still has access to all of the United States' internet, energy, and technology. That person, you and your family still has a tablet in school. There's a situation elsewhere, and while your relative disparity is, no one would say that the relative disparity of being homeless, taking your kid to school out of a car is worse, right? That's more important. It's more important. And then the other idea, yeah, of course, is that yeah, on the right, you might say, well, if you don't like how people conduct their property rights, then you should have civil society debates, discussions about that, right? Do not use government to tell people how to go do that. MAGA republicanism doesn't do this. MAGA republicanism and Donald Trump pick winners and losers. He said we can pick where car manufacturers open up new plants. We can pick the energy companies, the data centers that actually win. It is not about subsidies. It is not about who benefits from incentives in the short term. It's not about an absolute advantage going out to something which already has an absolute advantage. For Donald Trump, it is about nationalism, right? To me, that's not fundamental. It's misappropriating both what the left is as well as what the right is. And I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not a centrist either. I don't know what that means, but how do you lads feel about oh wow, Florida law? Yeah, Florida law, Arizona laws. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty wild. I don't see where, and there's disagreement on the channel about this. I don't see where in reality the Constitution or your God-given rights or the principle, the organizing principle includes a firearm too. So whatever. Perhaps that's what the left is supposed to be about, but not in America. American politics is anchored in expediency. Hey, and corporatism. Cool. Your education hasn't provided you with the ability to think. Cool. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're on a useful track for you, yourself, and you. And yeah, the ability to think, so you want to fund that. You want to pragmatically capture more of the ability to think, and you want to do so in a sense that is expedient and which leverages the stability of corporatism without homogenizing itself. So innovation, tech culture, and and the difference is that with Poor Richard's Almanac in the United States, one Tuesday every May, one Tuesday every spring, you don't have the option to not go till your fields. You don't have the option to maybe politicize views about abolitionism, because you see that it isn't necessary to horrifically enslave people and dehumanize them in order to do this task, right? There's nothing in agriculture that was like this. And in Mesopotamia, they in fact didn't salt the fields. You did not salt the fields on this core level of a society as a result of voicing an opinion that could not be responded to because it was so strong. So I would deeply encourage you to, go back to those 1776 principles like Charlie Kirk recommends and the whatnot, etc. I also think I'm kind of done with some of these usernames and tags. Hey, what's up, Cosmic Void? Yeah, if you want to talk about conservative politics, you guys want to talk about fake Navy SEAL, fake CIA stuff, I'm happy to talk about any of that stuff. When you say "shut up, you dirty Democrat scum," you're cutting off a conversation with now 13 other cool people. You're also making it about America. You're making it about not global civil society, not global community. And so there's two reasons why I wouldn't personally say "shut up, you dirty Democrat scum." And I'm also beginning to question if people have racially inspired usernames. Hey, what's going on? No one needs to be fixed. We're not fixing people here. Right? Your guys' brains, your bodies, everything is fine. Right? And so, it's good to be able to take small information in. If I grab a microphone, I have a microphone, and that's it. Right? When you can talk, people can have a conversation, and that's it. Hey, Dank. We got a couple cool folks still in chat. Cosmic, I'm so sorry, right? When we think about, whatever it is, if I said something to offend you, I actually do apologize, right? There's no need for offense to be present when we're having conversations and discussions, even though I also work to offend people from time to time deliberately. I'm still part of the internet. But what I would say, and so cool. Yeah, and so we keep going, right? We keep going. People that want to live pro-socially, people that want to live in a way that's pro-social and inclusive of different personalities, and it's not rocket science. It is not rocket science. Then cool, there's just that, right? There is just that, So shout out. We should want better things for each other. And outside of that, more of the same, right? I think people that took advantage of the tech ecosystem and tech outlay, don't be involved in civilizational discussions. Don't be involved in politics. You're going to get the same exact thing here that I say anywhere else. And you're going to get the same thing in the other places. And people that want to have conversations, learn, educate yourself, cool. Well, you're not a political person then. Congratulations, right? There's nothing to be in opposition to except the fact that you're not closer to your problem. Go F yourself. I don't give a shit. It's not my problem. You want to introduce the BS, the games, the nonsense, whatever it is. Yeah, who knows? You hear it, and then you'll hear it from Kamala Harris. You'll hear it from Donald Trump too. You'll hear it from, he won't tell you directly, but you'll hear it from Andrew Bustamante. You'll hear it from, who knows, LeBron James. You'll hear the same thing from people over and over and over and over again. And you introduce the same nonsense, right? I know where my feet are. I do not mind a chicken walking around where my feet are. I'd encourage it. I'll tell you guys a story. Here's a story. Here's splitting the difference. I was on a run, and in Arizona, some people have chickens, cows, horses. Your land, your property, your area around you has access to these types of things, right? You can homestead, or you can just have chicken coops. And anyways, I saw a chicken in this back alley. I did see a chicken in a back alley, and this must have been someone's chicken that had gotten out, and I didn't know how to help a chicken. How crazy is that? I'm a vegan now, and that's not a virtue signal. It is a little, but yeah, it's not really a virtue signal whatsoever at all either. But yeah, and so I saw a chicken out in the wild and didn't know how to help it. Because a chicken doesn't belong with a street 5 feet away. A chicken doesn't belong when people are out walking their dogs. It's a person's chicken in their house, and it's also just a chicken. And so this was a wake-up call for me that if the ground beneath my feet and in front of me, the sky above me, all of the resources I have, and I'm a smart person who I've had $25,000-$30,000 direct deposits before, not for doing sales. So I'm the best society has to offer. I was a junior fellow. I was doing research for books that were published by Oxford Press when I was in college. I'm the best society has to offer. I was a varsity wrestler my freshman year. I'm the best a society has to offer. All of these things. I wear Belugi Yagi sunglasses. I'm the best society's got to offer. You guys don't want Belugiani. And so we get back to the same exact thing. We get back to, the same exact thing. Ooh. Bunch of BS. I don't care. I don't give a shit. And so I didn't know how to help this freaking chicken. Made me very sad. All this other stuff. It made me really, really upset and sad because that's where I was. And so you guys want me to split the difference on some bullshit. Hey, how about this? How about you get a timeout? You're adorable. Nobody asked you to describe one as adorable. You can come back in 10 minutes if you want to talk to cool people about cool stuff. Otherwise, you can listen and read chat. I don't care. And so, yeah, that's crazy to me. We can install a new data center. Grok can buy 300 megawatts of power from OpenAI or Tesla or something like this, right? You can rent the ability to power the AI at a company. Oh, sick, cool. I didn't know you could do that. You've been doing it for the last 10 years, but I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know a deal would get made right now, this second, right? This is going to be the, whatever, just practically speaking, praxis, right? This is going to be the largest megawatt deal for AI compute, et cetera, this year. And probabilistically, based on Bayesian inference, there's going to be something bigger in 8 to 15 months or whatever, or it's going to be a little longer. This is actually a big deal. And so here's the short-term impact things that people are having around this bullshit. And so I'm sick of it. You can do that. I can do that. I can understand it. I would hire someone like my second or third ex-wife. Either one of them could read the legal contracts, and they would tell the lawyers what the lawyering thing to do is here. And then outside of this, et cetera, and the whatnot, right? I would, my first ex-wife, she'd be, whatever. She's a singing waitress, wink, wink. My first ex-wife, singing waitress. Second, third ex-wives, doing the AI grok thing, whatever. Fourth ex-wife, who knows, right? Who knows? I don't know. I'm going to go up to Poughkeepsie, New York City, et cetera, the Jersey boroughs. We'll see what we can dig up. We'll see what we can find. But yeah, Yeah, how do you help a chicken lost in a city? Not a fictitious question, a real question. You come across a chicken in New York City, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Arizona, Alvarado, New Mexico, etc., Salt Lake City, Denver, whatever. Yeah, you're in Texas, Arizona, Utah. You're trying to pull up the tubes. You're trying to pull up for the badonkadonk what on the OnlyFans, the Fansly, the Dr. Seuss hubs, whatever, etc., etc. You guys know how it goes. You guys don't all wear belugiagis. You guys don't all have broken Steve Madden's, hype the stream, send some money, right? You guys don't all have that. I do. So you guys are trying to do this and you come across a broken chicken somewhere in society. Balanka donka donka donk. Whatever. The what? I'm a male. Do I look like an alpha sigma male? I'm a male. You guys pull up for the what? Do I have more vocabulary for what it is? What is it? Okay, any questions? So you guys come across a broken chicken in a society. It's broken because it's where it is. It is where you are. That is what breaks the chicken. And you guys don't know how to fix it, but you can make 300 megawatt deals with Grok with OpenAI. What sense does that make in any world? How is that for a banana for scale, right? How is that making sense for a banana for scale for you? You don't understand. And then all the people are posting about it, telling jokes, telling humor. Everybody's having such a fun time. Hey, I've been up here. I ain't new. I told you guys, I wasn't a sales guy. My W-2 would tell the story. I made $300K a year. What did you do, right? So you were the one that would decide me over 100 people. Meanwhile, you got decided over 100 people. Guess what? That makes you worse than me, right? Because I did that and then I'm doing this. Guess what? I was a junior fellow. I outcompeted 5,000 people. I know more, and I'm telling you, this is messed up. I'm telling you, I'll drop the F-bomb. This is fucked up. You want the comparison? There's your banana for scale, right? There's your banana for scale. I am absolutely for liberation, but you're gonna tell women, men around the world, hey, you're 18, 19 years old. Your career now is showing your naked body on the internet. Did you want to do that? Cool. That's awesome. I don't care. Great way to learn. But are you okay with the fact that there's a pressure or coercion for someone? If someone says that, is that okay? Is it okay that we're not solving for disease, famine, veganism, animal rights, political processes around the world? Hell no. That's not okay for me. I'm not going to sit here and take it. I'm not going to become the person who says things I don't want to say because I know what I know. I'm not going to become the person who says something that I don't know that I believe in because I can say something else. I don't care. I'm sick of it. Aaron, Lamb, see you guys later. I'm a buffoon. See you guys. Build the UPS that goes to the data centers. I build I don't know what the UPS is, but cool. Yeah, no, there's no judgment for people's personal jobs, right? You guys are doing well, you guys are comfortable, etc. But the fact that we have to then lie to ourselves, we pretend like what's going on at the company is okay. I'm on social media. I get to talk about it. I get to be one of the honest people. But the fact that we paint over the priority, the decisions in our own lives become more obscure, right? I am a street corner prophet, right? I'm the narcissistic. I am the Waco, Texas. I am the Ruby Ridge. I am the insane person out here screaming on the street corner when you still can't tell me why it's weird that you can't help a wounded bird in the middle of the city. You can't tell me that, hey, I ain't a happy guy. Guess what? You ever tried it? I used to shovel fiberglass out of trucks before I was the top 1% of the 1% of the 1% of anything I've ever done. Guess what I did? I was pretty average. I was shoveling fiberglass out of a truck. And guess what? When I was being excellent, I was pretty average, right? Who knows? Why do you guys need LeBron James or Michael Jordan to tell you that women's rights include having access to a dentist? Why do you guys need someone to tell you that women's rights include having access to a library? Why do you guys need LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Donald Trump, Marco Rubio? You guys need Bill Clinton or Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton to come out of retirement to tell you animal rights and women's rights include asking what? You guys might think that's funny, but why is that not a political conversation starter? Why is that not the topic? What? Why is that not the topic or how someone can start a conversation? Being comfortable, being uncomfortable, talking about this stuff, guys, it's absolutely mind-boggling to me. Anyways, yeah, we're, what's the internet terms? We're cracked, guys. I ain't even starting going hard yet, guys. You guys want me to go hard? We're going to talk about Donald Trump later tonight. We're going to talk about Marco Rubio. We're going to talk about the war in Iran, guys. There's not going to be dodging. There's not going to be avoiding. There's not going to be an ability to say, hey, look, there's people around us who haven't really thought about it, but they said yes to being on a politics channel. They said yes that, hey, in 5 minutes, we're going to be talking about morality, ethics, scholasticism. Maybe it'll come up that we're going to talk about Balenciaga sunglasses. We're going to talk about Italian designers. We're going to talk about lifestyle, IRL, healthcare, this kind of stuff. We're going to talk about wellness, our own diets, etc. We haven't even started yet, guys. We are at the bottom of the YouTube charts. I'm happy down here. Do you know who my people are? My people are the sinners. My people live in the gutter. They live for the gutter. Hell yeah. Where did you learn your skill set? Hell yeah. I didn't learn mine from the Marines. I didn't learn mine from David Goggins. I didn't learn mine Maryland, Pentagon. That's all fake, guys. That's stolen valor. I learned mine from trying to be a good fucking person. So guess what? Guess what? You too. Guess what? Hey, Dr. Seuss peg leg bullshit. We're partners. We're friends. Partner, friend. Hey, where's my values represented? Where's mine, right? Go get you some. Where's my values? Pick it up. Where are they? Hell yeah, that's stolen, that's fake. What do you think it's actually about then? I get pissed, I get sad, I get upset when I see a chicken in the city and I can't help it, folks. Crazy, man. Crazy, guys. Man, I'm so mad now. I'm so mad. I've been so upset. I'm telling you, let me take the anger. Let me take the blame. It's my fault, folks. Guess what? Duck was supposed to be the brilliant genius. Microeconomics, macroeconomics, political economy, political theory, pull that all up, make it real, make it reality. Right? I was supposed to be able to, smart enough, I could write a fucking blog post for goddamn fucking Jerry Springer, Barack Obama, whatever the fuck it is. That's my fault. Put it back on me, right? Put it back on me. I wasn't, I didn't know enough, I wasn't smart enough, so now you're always not good enough. That's what a failure does. You guys want to learn about a priority, learn about a priority and a failure. You want to learn about intrigue, Balenciaga, Tom Ford, House of Gucci sunglasses, that's intrigue, that's curiosity. Learn about this. Learn about a failure. Learn about a failure and a priority. Now, I'm not telling you guys to go do that, right? I get to do that because I'm learning, right? I'm trying to peak. Hell yeah. Yeah, Black Lives Matter is a temporal identity politics movement, right? Black Lives Matter is a response. It goes civil rights, it goes abolition, women's rights, abolition and women's rights, it goes civil rights, and then it goes Black History Month, court cases, etc., and the whatnot, etc., and the whatnot, and then it goes Black Lives Matter, right? And so, Antifa is not a terrorist organization. That's a crazy thing to say. Black Lives Matter, maybe a little annoying in some ways, but by and large, very correct, responding to a political issue. Yeah, and so why not? Why didn't Black Lives Matter float up the fact that using Palantir and Palantir is weird, and yet law enforcement in the future is going to be community technology driven, or it shouldn't be all federal police officers telling you. ICE is going to tell you what to think about your local sheriff, right? The Whittle-Wampus 19, 20, 21-year-old political activists on the far right, on the far left in the future are going to be looking to Donald Trump's ICE, 100,000 federal police officers, to coach you what you think about local law enforcement. Yeah. And so, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so we're going to take a second here. And hey, thanks so much, Tony Castro. Hey, thank you so much. Tony Castro's fam. He's on the channel hanging out. So shout out to you, brother. Good to see you, man. I appreciate the huge $5 super chat. Great to see you. All right, guys. Yeah, if there's any topics, Tony, if you got anything you want to talk about, I'm going to close off for the day, guys. You guys were super charitable and generous. Usually that means I keep going, but I want to make sure, you guys get to enjoy the rest of your days as well, doing some different stuff. We're really information dense some days, guys. I hope it's been approachable, accessible, fun. I hope I haven't been too off-putting. Hey, thank you for the kind message. I'm personally a Buddhist atheist, and fulfilling the law. Yeah, that's an interesting topic. I think the shared space we have is the law can be jurisprudence, rule of law. The law can also be aspects of nature. Aspects, to me, it would be a natural interpretation. It would be a inference-based interpretation of that nature. So shout out to you guys. Thank you, Puggles, again for the support. Tony, Andy, and Aaron. I believe you guys all dropped in a little bit of a dime piece for me today. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, I'm just going to cool out for a second on stream if you guys want to hang out with me. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm going to chill for a freaking second here. Maybe put some music on and there we go, right? Hey, nice. Whoops. Ooh. Hell yeah. Hey, thank you. Jesus saves and heals. Amen. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. Happy to be both. Yeah, Armenia. Yeah, Armenia. Shout out to Armenia. Shout out to those guys. System of a Down. Shout out to them. Yeah, cool band. Really cool band. Interesting music. They broke through that pop screen filter. They didn't take a lot of shortcuts. They just kind of represented authentically their music. They've got a little Armenia and a lot of heavy metal. Right? Be like that. Say that System of a Down, they're a heavy metal band. Very cool stuff, guys. System of a Down, heavy metal band, everybody. Hell yeah, everyone. They spelled in smoke. Let's do this, guys. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Let's throw it down for those guys. Do you guys know Yelena? Do you guys know my friend Molly or Yelena? Have you seen Yelena or my friend Molly? I'm looking for Molly still. She loaned me. I accidentally broke her. I broke her Belugi sunglasses. Her House of Tom Ford Gucci's. These are my Steve Maddens. But yeah, I broke Yelena's sunglasses. So I'm looking. So I need to go find her or my friend Molly for these guys. Sorry, I messed that up really deeply. I apologize. Sorry, I messed so much up. I apologize. I apologize. What's up? What's up? Yeah, what's up? What's up with it? What's good with it? Hey, let's just make the math equation. You guys didn't like how I represented myself. Let's just write the equation out. Let's see who can solve it first. Who knows the signs and symbols? You guys are going to be back in your logic textbook. What's up? What's up?
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay.
I'm looking for my friend Yelena. She loaned me her glasses. I'm looking for my friend Molly. I broke her glasses. She loaned me her. They were what do you call them? They were asexual and the whatnot. They were gender neutral. Yelena, she, whatever her name was.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away. Cause every time I wake up, I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden,
makes sense. It makes sense, guys. Hell yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no, you'll never be the same. I don't really want okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the
Have you guys seen my friend Yelena? I'm looking for my friend Molly. Yeah, Yelena loaned me these sunglasses. I'm looking for Molly. Yeah, I gotta give these back to her real quick. Any questions? What's up, etc. More so, and you know, the whatnot, whatever it is. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's it been? What has it been? What is it? What it do? I need $70 whale pomade. I need $7,000 whale pomade for my freaking hair. Go support your favorite creators, guys. Show up in chat. Be a role model. Be a pure influencer. You guys can change someone's day, right? You guys can change someone's 15 seconds. You guys can give someone that inspiration to be themselves for 5 minutes. Be their authentic selves. You guys are awesome, right? This isn't a change agent community, but you can just carry that with you just by showing up. Shout out to you guys out there. Shout out to you guys out there. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Make it authentic. What's up? How are you guys doing today? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Don't take away that right from somebody. Don't take away their power. That's absolutely right.
But I've known you too long. It hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away.
Thanks. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good day. Thank you so much, everyone.